Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Ma,
I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 474,
where
again
I'm
on a
running around
Friday.
like a crazy person trying to gather all my things because I was like got hyper focused on something for work and
Yeah.
but luckily Megan snapped me out of it. And here we are.
Yeah, it's I feel like that's like my my MO these days. Home and working again today. And then yeah, headed out next Tuesday, so at least I get to be home a couple of nights in a row this time before I have
Oh,
to back out. It's crazy. But I am doing pretty good on the packing, so that's good. Like
nice.
I'm getting really good at packing things up for both train or plane rides and car rides. So
Are you still overpacking for knitting?
yeah, I did take an extra sock project and an extra like if I finish this sweater, maybe I'll cast on a sweater kind of similar to what you're wearing. The Renaissance. Yours is the something gate, right?
Garden Gate.
Garden Gate, yeah. And so I've got that in a bag. But the nice thing is it with trips that just follow each other sequentially is that now that's already packed for my next
Yep.
trip. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, it was wonderful. Other than the 2 days that we had very finite plans in St. Louis were the days where they were going to have very inclement weather. So on
Mhm.
Sunday, we went to a soccer game, which got stopped because there was lightning and thunder. So we stuck around and figured out what their inclement weather plans were and got to watch the end, which it was exciting. It was a 0-1 loss for them. So they were trying to score very urgently at the end. And then Wednesday, we went to the Cardinals game, and that was a fantastic game. There was
Okay.
a lot of home runs, and there was a grand slam, unfortunately, by the
Oh,
other
wow.
team. But again, they won yeah, triumphantly at the end by scoring a ton of runs at the very end. So we enjoyed the baseball game a lot. It was a during the day, so it wasn't like overly crowded. And
Mhm.
so when it started kind of raining on us, we went behind where we could have some overhead coverage.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, other than that, went to the free zoo, which was amazing, and also the city museum, which was amazing. Ate a lot of really great food. Got a bunch of runs in what is very, very green down in St. Louis relative to here. It's so brown outside the window right now. My eyes got used to seeing all of the green. And then yeah, next week headed to Las Vegas where it will decidedly be very brown,
Okay.
but warm
Yeah.
relative to here. Jeremy was like, it's 20 degrees outside. He was looking at his phone
Yeah.
this morning. And I'm like, yeah.
We we've been driving around town and noticing the little pockets of green. So a little bit of an opposite because we haven't been exposed to all the green. We're just like, oh
Yeah.
look, there's a patch over there starting to come in, and
Yeah.
yep.
It must just be like the chorus of the city because when we were there, they were like, "Well, April showers bring May flowers," and I was like, "You have tons of flowers. You don't need any more showers."
I was
But
always
yeah,
confused by that in different locations, right? Like that can't be
yeah,
true everywhere, right? Like, and
yes,
also, yeah, even where I grew up, there were flowers before, so
yeah, yeah. But yeah, we also went up into the arch, which was amazing.
oh fun.
Saw that I took a picture. They had some Deneen pottery
Oh, okay.
at the arch. I was like, hey, I recognize that style. They had like a little uh their signature kind of glaze from the top
Okay.
look on a couple of them. And I was like, don't need another mug, don't need another mug. But
It's
got a
hard to
magnet.
resist.
Yeah, but
I
got a
saw
magnet.
that they brought a style back. It's the tipless one, and it's very
Oh,
triangular on the bottom, and it has like a little lip at the top. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
oh,
Um, but it was a larger one, I think, 16 ouncer.
Yeah,
But
that would be a lot of microwaving in my world.
yeah. Well, we should probably like get
Yes,
to the
absolutely,
FOs
absolutely. It is
here.
FOs, and then we will commit. I don't know when if we'll be able to podcast next week because I will be traveling for work a majority of the week, and it would be like Monday, so 2 days worth of in between. But the next time we podcast, we will be drawing for winners for our first quarter
Yes.
of the Craft Your Own Luck, Craft Your Luck, and yeah, the next challenges are forthcoming for Q2 here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. I
Mhm.
know that it's kind of like suspenseful to not know what the challenges are, but then there's that could be a creative challenge, right? If you start some and then you're like, oh, how do I get them into?
Yep. Yep. And again, everything that you've done this year fits into them.
Yeah,
So the second quarter should hopefully be a little easier, again, like you said,
right.
with some
You might have already
creativity.
knit one of the categories. You don't know.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Um, but yes, thanks to those that are crafting along there. I've got a Sullivan is close by. He's like, why do you guys leave? Checking us out. Anyway, FOs,
So
go.
yeah, so I went through and I picked out four that I thought were since the last time we podcasted about finished objects. I have this Lucky 13 sock. I have a pair now, and this is a Queen City Knits held double. This is a sock blank from an anniversary,
Ooh,
I
yeah,
think. Yeah. So anyway, beautiful colors, and I like how they worked up.
held double. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a DK weight sock, and I believe there is some charm in this pattern because it's written for fingering and DK, so you can do fingering and DK weight,
Hmm.
um, depending on your preference. But yeah, lovely eyelets in there.
Hmm.
Okay, and then I finished my Farmer's Daughter's Fibers March. So this is dragon scales, shifting dragon shifting dragons. Um, so that's also from one of our designers. So I believe the first one was Tracy Workman,
Hmm.
and then these are Kristen Knits or Knitting Kristen. I always flip it. I always
Knit
flip
and
it.
Kristen.
Knit and Kristen. Okay. I think that's because we had like Kristen's Knits the shop here in town. And, and so it's really hard for me to flip them.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's why she flipped it because she didn't want to be
Yeah, right. So then I'm
mistaken.
going to tilt down here. We got the garden gate.
Ooh, pretty.
And so this is really, really beautiful. Here's our clover motif here that
Hmm.
got us the count for the challenge. And we had mentioned these pips on and whether they were worth it, and I didn't do them on the bottom. I know that when I look closely at this garment, the tension on all of those super separated motifs isn't the greatest. You know, it's like
Hmm.
annoying as a knitter to look at. I don't want to reknit it because like at this distance, I can't see it and I
Hmm.
and I wouldn't even bother me. But if a knitter was like, "Oh, that's beautiful," and they were to look, it's like, okay, there's like a really widely opened uh knit because then the next one's really tight on it. And
Hmm.
it's just due to my tensioning on these wide gaps. I
Yeah.
also, you know, famous last words or famous whatever. I was so annoyed with my yarn management. I tried different styles of trapping floats, and I think that also accounts for like the variance in what's happening there. Um,
Hmm.
so if you're trying to trap from the back or trap from the front on them, uh, but one way definitely was quicker. But then it ended up that they didn't really match up with the ones I had done on the previous round. So,
Yeah.
like, oh, but didn't feel like ripping back. So, and then last but not least, I got my very bright Don't Be Suspicious tank top.
Should I be suspicious?
Yes.
No,
So
don't
this
be.
one here is Oink Pigments in the Don't Be Suspicious colorway, a very bright and sunny yellow.
Ooh.
And the pattern, oh my gosh, Heleneth. I have it linked in my Ravelry. I've
Mhm,
knit two of these now, and I really, really enjoy it. So it's a top or bottom up sweater. So if you don't really like those, it might be annoying in that regard.
mhm,
But I found it really well written. I do believe that she test knits for all of her sizes or gets test knitted for all of her sizes. And I found that the ones sizes I chose for me fit really well. So,
mhm. Excellent.
and and in the picture from the designer, it's like a cropped kind of a belly shirt. So, if you're kind of like, oh, that's not what Amy showed, um, yeah, I definitely knit quite a bit more length on mine.
Yeah, and you said you added the cable as well, right?
Yes, yes. Had to make it fit the categories, right? So we got a nice cable along the side, just
Very.
to add a little detail into the
Mhm.
garment, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was my rapid fire as quick as I could.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. I believe all of these you guys have seen as works in progress, so I can be brief as well. This is my Cake Pop sweater by
Ooh.
Joji Locatelli. It is with 716. Fans call him Dave, and then like a mohair kind of like fuzzy yarn that I got from a chic knit, I believe, and it was from India Untangled. I think I forgot that last time we were talking about it. They had like a year-end sale, and this was like something that they had acquired as part of like a club, and they had extras. I fell in love with the green color. And
Mhm,
really like how it knit up, especially with kind of that variegated being kind of toned down by the solid. And I love how the lace turned out. It is very stretchy with all of those that lace, and then it's kind of got that nice wave in there as well. Made it, as I think I mentioned, as long as I possibly could based off of the yarn that I had available. And so that ended up being like the body to like here, the sleeves to finish, and then taking it into the home stretch with the last of the yarn. And then I'm trying to remember. Like, I think I ended up, no, I think I did the neckline as written. I always kind of start with the smallest neckline in any pattern, and then work in some increases to get to the wider size, or the bigger size before I get to the motifs. Just because I know I don't like, you've probably seen me messing with my neckline on this. I don't like the neckline being super wide on anything. And so yeah, loving that. And of course, it's now cold enough here that I could be wearing it. So, also another lucky 16. I did Wes Anderson Style by Woolens and Nosh colorway, and kind of followed the Lucky 13 by Paper Daisy, who is not a ZK designer, but I do like the kind of that motif. She had this, you were working this with scraps, and I just
mhm,
did it on the stripes, right? So every time I got to a brown stripe, I put that nice little garter ridge in there, which meant that they may not exactly, like each section may not exactly match on the number of rows. And I think there was only a couple of them here where I ended up like mid row having to switch over to like, okay,
mm,
now I'm gonna be purling, right,
mhm,
to make that garter ridge. But yeah, really like how it turned out. And as her clubs do, had heels and toes. So I did heels, toes, and um, cuff there in that pretty brown that matches the row in the middle. But
mhm,
yeah, again, some lace, some eyelets in there, and
mhm.
a fun way to kind of play around with some self striping. And of course, the OMG heel. So kind of a hodgepodge of things. And then this may or may not still be a finished object by the end of the day. I've got some ends to weave in, but this is my Low Tide by Rachel Ilsley. Lots of lace, lots of eyelets there. I did the same thing as I did with Cake Pop because I had the main color, the at Hanes House. I didn't have as much of as I had of the furry yarn, the fuzzy
Mhm.
yarn. So kind of got to here and then did the sleeves, got to the bottom and actually had quite a bit.
Yeah.
I actually had another motif of this, and then my ribbing was really short and I did not like the way that that looked,
Mm,
relative to the top kind of having. So ripped out the extra motif and then added this. And now I'm kind of looking at the sleeves and going like, well, it might be nice to have a little bit more ribbing on the sleeve as
okay.
well. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to rip out that much and have that much ribbing,
Hmm.
or I've got a little bit extra from where I ripped out the bottom,
Or just
maybe just
add.
add a couple of extra rows here. But yeah, fun with yarn management. It
Mm.
was, I don't know. I definitely got my hours worth, if that makes sense. Whenever I rip out, like that's kind of the silver lining is like I am getting extra time
Mhm.
this with this yarn, right? But yeah, super, super duper love it. It's gonna block out beautifully. I can just tell it's got a lot of stretch. And again, another really warm one. Just daring the weather to get a little warmer here
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
that
you
I
had
can't
to.
wear all these new sweaters. Yeah.
I I don't know if that was the same sweater that you were ripping out in the airport that you got the comment on,
Yep.
but certainly proved several times that you're willing to rip that thing out and
To
it's
get it right,
fine.
to get it right. Yep. Yep. So had like a little ball of yeah, a little ball of yarn that I was working through so this is a well-traveled sweater. It's been to Minnesota, it's been to Missouri, and it's been to Oregon.
Nice.
I do not think it's going to Las Vegas with me though. So hopefully she stays at home. But yes, a very lovely pattern. And super duper, like again, when I got to the end of the lace on the body, I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this, right? Like I'm not going to be making the lace anymore. It's just going to be ribbing. I got to a point where I had it memorized and really, really love. At first, it was like counterintuitive, these little zags
Mm-hmm.
here, but like I got to a point where I was like, oh, that looks really neat. I'm
Hmm.
enjoying that I'm doing that and I can remember where I need to start again. And yeah, and then just kind of this constant heartbeat of
Hmm.
that cable to keep me on like, okay, this has been 4 rows, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, super, super duper fun, super love it. Again, enjoying that our challenges are challenging me to do some different things and have definitely been loving my mohair sweaters. So hopefully have occasion with air conditioning and whatever to wear them in the future.
Right, right. You need the temperatures to be, you can wear
Yeah.
them today.
Yes, for
Warm
sure,
up.
for sure.
Now,
But yeah,
I was just gonna
that's my
say
FOs.
that Amy being Amy, I have like a bazillion things that I've cast on recently. So we'll see if I can crank through as many FOs. I feel like a lot of these surprised me because they were kind of monogamish. Um,
Mm.
yeah, because I was able to get this one done in like less than 10 days and this one done in
Wow.
less than 10 days. So, like, instead of my usual like sprinkle and have them all done at the same time, I actually like
Yeah.
semi-focused and got them
Wow.
done pretty quickly. So, which it's a new era. I don't know. But I was gonna say I did cast on two things last night. So,
You're like, oh, yin yang. Yeah, well,
it's
yin
back
yang.
to
Well, yeah, you've balanced out that
yeah.
monogamish, monogamode. You've been known to do that, so yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, thanks for joining us again. Stay tuned. We'll get those get your entries in
Oh
again.
yeah.
Fit those in, and we'll get some drawings done the next time we podcast.
Yep. Bye.
Bye, Huvda. All right, gonna jump.
Okay, I'm putting our first quarter taxes in the mail today.